Hey everyone, Encore Performance here, back with another video. Today, we will be going over another one of Dianteforlife's Pacifist runs. In this second episode of our Pacifist campaigns, we will be trying to complete Le Loi, arguably the hardest campaign in all of Age of Empires 2. We will see whether we will be able to beat back the tyrannical Ming dynasty, Malay pirates, and even our own countrymen who side with the Ming. As mentioned in the last video, throughout the scenario we will be allowed to lose units and destroy buildings. However, we cannot kill any units. An easy way for us to check whether or not a kill has occurred would be to check the statistics page. Thankfully for us, monk conversions do not count as kills, and neither do allied kills count as our own. In Mission 1, we will not face any aggression leaving us free to boom. However, should one of our two allies be overrun, we will be defeated. This forces us to defend the two cities loyal to Le Loi, Trin and Nguyen. Our faithful friends require all of their castles to stand in order for us not to be defeated. While defending these, we must try and liberate the 5 green villages scattered around the map. To liberate them, we must destroy the teal towers within each one, which are guarded by sizable Ming patrols. As we start the scenario, we will begin to boom on this side of the map, where we're given a small ragtag force in the feudal age. After a small scout of the map, we begin. We are able to lure the teal garrison in the closest village towards our allies' castles, where they'll gun them down. Then, we use the Le Loi unit themselves to finish off the towers. We're able to do this because of his high HP and regeneration as a hero. After that, we move towards Green's easternmost village, where we then use Le Loi as bait for our petards to strike. We require only 3 per tower, and as they go off, the second village is deemed blessed by pacifism. We repeat this with villages 3, 4, and 5. Finally, the petards cross the river into the final village, ready to use their magic on the towers. After they ignite and bring the defenses crumbling down, we are deemed victorious once more without a single kill. This is a rather easy scenario, as we had our allies to rely on in order to do the killing. All we needed was some micro. However, as we hop into Mission 2, we'll be able to see the difficulty of the campaign increasing. We are lucky enough to have an ally throughout Mission 2. But this is the only area where luck is on our side. Teal, to the west, will have 3 castles, along with production buildings, where the besiegers will attack from. Blue, however, will not produce units, but as many patrols and groups of soldiers scattered around the map in our path. Le Loi and his ally Lele are isolated in a mountain fortress. We must hold out from attacks on all sides until we're able to escape to the east. On the map, we have the green circles, being our allies' castles that must remain standing. Our mountain fortress circled in the yellow. The teal circles show the enemy castles and camps, along with arrows displaying their attack routes. In the blue, we have a few of their major unit groupings circled as well as the Chinese camp. The orange arrow displays our escape path. This we will need to eventually follow in order to win. Before we're able to do such though, we must first destroy the Chinese camp and the units residing there while making sure that one of our allies' castles remains standing at all times, while we could sit behind our walls, allowing our ally to throw themselves at the enemy as we escape to the east. That would be our rat's way of victory. Henceforth, we shall lead the counterattack. In the words of Henry V, unto the breach. We will make docks to construct cannon galleons that can snipe the enemy's castles and towers from afar. These will be partnered with our tanky elephants, who thanks to our unique Castle Age tech have 100 more HP. We cannot boom forever though, as our goal is to eliminate the enemy castles before they begin to construct trebuchets, which they'll do at the 40-minute mark. These would tear through our allies' defenses. Without redemption, we'd have no manner in which to kill these trebs off, other than to rely on our ally, who would have no opportunity to do such. Meaning the loss of our allies' castles before we're able to retreat is assured unless we can deal with Teal's castles first. We begin to build docks. These will make our cannon galleons, as mentioned previously. With the use of these, we're able to take out enemy towers and then castles. We'll have to move from pond to pond, but we'll repeat this process constantly, slowly, as our cannon galleons shoot cannonball after cannonball, taking down those castles far before the 40-minute mark, meaning that our victory can nearly be assured. As the 3rd teal castle finally comes down to our cannon galleons, we realize the timer is off. We no longer have to fear the unstoppable trebuchets and can freely boom within our walls. We will train many light cavalry in order to lure the blue army blocking our way to the east into our allies' towers, opening the path for us to escape. But why are we running, you might ask? We're not running. We're leaving, in order to spread the ways of pacifism to further lands, of course. Not only will we be leaving, but our ally is granted 40 pilgrims wishing to learn the ways of pacifism. They come in groups of 10 and will take the journey east in order to show their dedication. Once they have crossed the edge of the map, Leloir and his army shall follow. As Leloir and his troops finally cross the border, we're deemed victorious. A rather difficult scenario, some might call it, but for Diante, it's child's play. He not only completes the scenario, but goes above and beyond by exterminating his main enemy, all without a single kill. In Mission 3, we begin with a small force in the south. Our objective is clear. We are tasked to first travel a perilous route until we reach our mountain allies. Then, with their help, we are to destroy the 2 Ming castles. However, we are not one for taking orders, so we will use a far more efficient but difficult strategy in order to be deemed victorious as a pacifist. While destroying the Ming castles immediately may seem impossible on paper, there are things we have yet to consider, such as thankfully the enemy will not construct units until we have reached the mounted camp to the north or one of the castles in the city has been razed. This means that if we act quickly, we can skip the rebels in the north and immediately take out one of the castles using the capped ram we are given. Now, to put our plan into action, we begin with a large force, strong in numbers but not health. There will be many units ahead, but if we play it smart, there'll be no match for our pacifistic ways. If this were an Immortal video, I'd try and micro and kill them all. However, since we are promoting peace and not eternal conflict, we have to bait them out of the way for our main force, even if it means sacrificing many of our units. With 4-leg cavalry, we're able to lure off a sizable force of non-pacifistic pikemen, archers, and skirmishers. We then repeat this, continuing to lure away units. Unfortunately, as we do so, our own forces begin to diminish. Luckily for us, as we continue, we can find Ming deserters who will willingly join our side, eager to learn the ways of pacifism. After clearing out a blue camp with our army and a mangonel we were given, we reach the gates of the Ming fortress. We need just go a little further north, where we're able to commission a ram. We garrison it with some of our pikemen and make for a rapid assault. After we quickly destroy the first castle with our ram, we act fast to strike the second. We can see the enemy beginning to make units, but they're no match for our superior speed tactics. The second castle comes down, and it's very close, but with a mere 7 units remaining, we're deemed victorious once again. Of course, I need not convince you of our exploits, I just let the statistics speak for itself. In Mission 4, there will be 3 gunpowder stores we are tasked with capturing. To do this, we must destroy the towers beside said buildings in order to steal the gunpowder inside. I'm certain as long as we have yet to research chemistry, this will go well. If we have researched it though, I can imagine that flammable arrows and gunpowder would work together very poorly. We will be overwhelmed by their sheer numbers, and due to our inability to produce an effective number of monks in order to defend ourselves, we'll be forced to have to wall our economy off. By sealing it away with stone walls, we're able to buy ourselves time to boom. Where our economy holds from the insane pressure green and blue will put on us, we'll sneak a few villagers down to the bottom of the map where they can create a forward operating base. That'll only become a reality though if we're able to hold off from the insane pressure green and blue will put on. As you can see here, this is one of Dante's earlier attempts where he succumbed to the pressure. Circled in the yellow on this map is our starter base, where we begin with a small force. To the west lies Pink, who illegally occupies Grey's land. If we were following side quests, we'd free them. However, our focus is to complete it as a pacifist, not to rescue the oppressed. The yellow line represents the path we will travel to build our forward base at the X. The green and blue lines are where enemies will sally out from. The light blue circle is the Ming fortress, with the 3 gunpowder stores shown in the black. To put into action now, immediately after loading in, we send 3 villagers south, where they begin to mine stone. Back to the gulag. It is for mother pacifism, my comrade. We then house wall and reinforce it with a stone wall behind. Clearly, the enemy didn't pay attention in math class, as instead of attacking the very low HP fence on our left flank, he remains adamant on focusing the east side, where he'll spend ages attacking the walls. Finally, once our workers, finish gathering their stone, we head to the Ming fortress on the southwestern side where we begin to construct our castle. We watch our castle patiently as it's constructed, but we know it'll go up. We've done this dozens of times. We've put it in the perfect spot where it's just close enough for our trebuchets to be built, but where our enemy won't notice. At the same time, we'll click up to the Imperial Age. As the enemy begins to push through our defenses in the north, with his own use of siege and trebuchets, we're constructing trebuchets of our own, right by his base. Once you reach an adequate amount, we begin our strike. By sending 6 trebuchets at Blue's bottom gate and 4 at the top, we're able to quickly break the bottom gate and begin our bombardment of the enemy's towers. All three crumble nearly in the sync, granting us the gunpowder stores. Wang Tong shows up with an army of arbalesters, but he is far too late. Once all three of the gunpowder stores have been captured, we're deemed victorious. Throughout Mission 5 we'll be on the back foot, as we'll be forced to defend our 3 different bases for ages on end from the hordes of Ming reinforcements. Or so we thought. Instead, we'll be attempting a speedrun strat shared by Tay, a Vietnamese AoE 2 speedrunner, who is helpful in planning all these strategies, but we will be straight up copying him for this mission. Dante will begin to boom with his most western base, while he walls near the top to block Blue off. We have 2 objectives: to defeat Wang Tong, we can do this by destroying his castle in TC, and to capture a monument far behind enemy lines. After a quick boom, Dante begins to put his chess pieces into play. He constructs 2 siege workshops by the eastern base, and 1 near the southern base. For the eastern base, he'll make rams to tank arrows and bombards to deal with the castle and town center. Down south, he will train but a singular siege tower, where he will use 2 villagers, one by the name of Jason Bourne, and one by the name of Bond, James Bond. They're named this because they must use their covert abilities to infiltrate the enemy's bases. It happens all at once. Dante sends a small group of light cavalry and battle elephants to go distract the enemies, while his siege moves in. The rams go on the side, taking arrows from the towers as the bombards begin their literal bombardment of the enemy castle. They take it down with haste, and as they switch their target to Pink's TC, enemy knights stream in from all sides. The bombards fire their last barrage that easily takes down the TC. We need only wait a minute now for Wang Tong to resign. During the meanwhile, Dante drops the villagers over the wall with the use of the siege tower. The villagers sprint past the tower, dodging arrows left and right till they reach the waterfront. Here, they build a dock, then train a fishing ship. It sails up to the monument, captures it, and this immediately deems Dante victorious, with just 1 mission left to go as a pacifist. Now for Mission 6, the hardest mission yet of our campaign. I'm certain throughout this mission, Dante's exploits have impressed you, but that will not compare to what is to come. To put it onto the battle map now, right there in the southwest, you can see yellow and blue lines. This is where the initial battle will occur, a great slaughter with many lives lost. However, only our own units will die as we spread our pacifist ways. The yellow lines represent our own forces, while the blue ones display the Ming enemy. The yellow X's show where the elephants will attack from on the flanks. In the teal circles lie the operating bases of the Ming vanguard, who will attempt to harass us throughout the entire scenario. Then, inside the dotted blue circle lies the Ming fortress, with each complete circle for a Ming castle we must destroy for a total of 7. And in the orange, we have our allied bases, that once we walk up to the town center, they will become ours. This will start many triggers, including the ones that allow teal to make units. We'll take advantage of this first though. The forced battle begins. War drums can be heard as our troops shuffle in their boots. The incoming noise of the enemy's charge pounds in our men's ears. Will they stand and fight? No. They will run away. We leave the majority of our army for blue to attack. While the Ming vanguard is distracted doing this, we retreat with a small force to the east. We take this small force and use a few units from it to lure away the units of Teal's easternmost base. Due to his lack of unit building capabilities because of the triggers I mentioned earlier, we can easily begin to raze and demolish the camp. Using our rattan archers to outmicro the castle's arrows enables our other units to begin destroying buildings. When our archers eventually get low from the odd arrow that ends up hitting them, we sub them out with another and send the wounded to heal within our ally's castle that lies far away from his town center, so we're careful not to trigger any triggers. Once this village has been cleared, we head around the flank, going further north in order to clear out a few dark blue camps that have no real effect on how the scenario will play out, but having this extra maneuverability is good. Once we have cleared these, we'll then head over to the start of the map, but we aren't going to our allies just yet. We head over to the Ming vanguard's northmostern camp and lure all the units out of it as well. Once that's been done, we destroy his castles to delay his trebuchet production. Since we do not have redemption as the Vietnamese, siege is our weakness. Since we have no way to deal with it, our best hope is to prevent it. We then finally move over to our allies' village and capture it. Our first move is to wall. We wall off the center from the western allied base, and then we use this wall to begin converting the large army remaining in the middle. We then wall off the Ming vanguard's remaining base. Now that this is done, we begin converting units, as mentioned earlier, from the large army in the middle. Once they've been converted, we instantly pause and delete them. At the same time, we begin to prep for our final assault on the Ming stronghold. We will need siege from all sides to make it work at once, as we hope we can. We train a large army of monks along with a few trebs in the west. We then scatter siege all around the Ming fortress, whether it be siege workshops and bombard cannons or trebuchets. Even in the south on the river, we have cannon galleons. At once and in sync, we strike, easily tearing down the Ming castles. One by one they turn to rubble and our siege moves to the next. Wang Tong, our feared rival, finally concedes defeat and decides to switch to the ranked scene rather than the campaign gameplay. This was Le Loi, completed by Dianteforlife as a pacifist on the hardest difficulty possible without a single kill. I was honored when Dante asked me to turn this into a video for him, and it was my pleasure to do it for him. He helped me with the script, of course, but for the most part the editing, recording, and custom clips were done by me. Of course the gameplay was his. If you'd like to speak to the legend himself, or give me advice on what to post next, please join the Discord in the description below. Leave a comment about what you liked, and what I should maybe change for the next video. I plan on continuing this series with Dante, but my next video will definitely be an immortal one. Thank you for watching, and have a great holiday, guys.